On the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. We've got a lot of news to cover. Certainly, we had the generals meeting today and got some snippets from it. I actually watched Hegseth and Trump. They were magnificent. Hegseth's speech was incredible. Was freaking incredible. We'll share a couple parts from it. I mean, it was long, and I highly recommend you try to find this speech. It's all over the place. You can find it, but very, very good. And certainly something that we're going to get into. I did have one, I don't know, I had this image in my mind that there was a place or a point where it felt like it was about 5 of them, but like 5 generals that literally, because they were at Quantico, which is a Marine base. And I almost wonder at some point, I felt like I saw this, so I don't know. I don't know if it happened or not. But I saw like 5 different situations where there was people that walked down the aisles and were waiting for specific people and might have fired / arrested a few on site to set an example for everyone else. I saw it, and I think there's something to it, but we'll see. I don't know if we'll ever hear about it, but I do think an example was made, not publicly, not on TV, but certainly I think it happened either after the speeches, before the speeches. It's hard to say how this all played out. Also, there are 2 paths that I'm seeing right now, and I'm not trying to tell you which one you should be in. I just find it extremely interesting, so I'm kind of posing this to all of you guys as something. I'm wondering if you've noticed it, if you've seen it. But I'm noticing 2 paths. There's a path where a lot of people, they believe God shows himself in their lives. They believe that nature is a very, very good way to experience God and what he's created and just the wonders of the world. And there's this concept where God creates experiences for me, and that's kind of how I help establish that connection with him, and it helps me kind of grow my relationship, right? And then we've got this other side that nothing is natural anymore. Everything is man-made. Everything is intelligence-driven. Everything is controlled by man or intelligence outside of God. And I find that so interesting. And I don't know what's causing it. I don't know if this ties into this whole techno thing that a lot of people want to do, because, I mean, they believe it's man-made, they believe it's alien, they believe it's technology. Nothing anymore is God showing us something. You know, a meteor comes flying through, a big fireball happens, and people are like, oh, that's got to be a UFO, that's got to be technology, that's got to be the deep state doing something. Or there's people like me that are like, it's a meteor. God just gave you a cool sign. You don't get to see those very often. I wonder if you made a wish while you were seeing it. It's just totally different ways of thinking. Right, wrong, and different. It is happening. There is going to be kind of a small tie-in with this same concept. Not exactly, but similar. I've got one small story that is tripping me out as well, and it's just a weird consistency, and it's where the message keeps coming from that's kind of tripping me out. Anyway, we got a few things to cover. I think I've plugged them enough, if you will. Trump marks the feast of St. Michael the Archangel. I just kind of wanted to call out my good boy Michael. Michael is definitely one of the spirits or angels specifically that I work with very closely. I would say Ashtar's another name that you've maybe heard of. Merlin's a name you've probably heard of. He's my master teacher, or one of my master teachers. So I got a few of these guys that I like to run around with. But St. Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle. Be our defense against the wickedness and snares of the devil. May God rebuke him, we humbly pray. And do thou, O Prince of the heavenly hosts, by the power of God, cast into hell Satan and all the evil spirits who prowl about the world, seeking the ruin of souls. Amen. Beautiful little prayer of St. Michael, or Lord Archangel Michael, Lord Michael. I think saints are, I don't know if that's the same thing. Is it St. Michael of the Archangel? Oh, that's a saint. Yeah, saints are people, aren't they? Anyway, whatever. Kind of cool. But it is a significant day. That much is sure. And, well, kind of in that same vein, because Michael is the warrior. He's the one with the sword. He's, well, some would say badass. Here is Pete Hegseth, I think, given a good impression of Lord Michael.
We owe our republic a military that will win any war we choose, or any war that is thrust upon us. Should our enemies choose foolishly to challenge us, they will be crushed by the violence, precision, and ferocity of the War Department. In other words, to our enemies, F-A-F-O. If necessary, our troops can translate that for you. Another way to put it is peace through strength, brought to you by the warrior ethos. And we are restoring both.
And he was. And again, his whole entire speech was fantastic. I got a couple other snippets that'll be coming up here in a second. Wanted to talk about something kind of funny that Donald Trump, truth, this is an AI-generated video, but still funny as hell. And again, Donald Trump posted this and truthed this out. Again, this is AI-generated. This is parody.
Look, guys, there's no way to sugarcoat it. Nobody likes Democrats anymore. We have no voters left because of all of our woke trans bullshit. Not even black people want to vote for us anymore. Even Latinos hate us. So we need new voters. And if we give all these illegal aliens free health care, we might be able to get them on our side so they can vote for us. They can't even speak English, so they won't realize we're just a bunch of woke pieces of shit, you know, at least for a while until they learn English and they realize they hate us too.
I mean, there's so much truth to that. It's not even funny. It's like, it's hard to believe that was actually parody. I know, me too. All right, this is a little long. I think let's do 1.25 CB. I have it on. Okay, cool, I did. This is, I think, just good, powerful. It's good for us as MAGA people to see this. The awakening process is happening. This is good for any, I don't know, left-leaning people that are this far into my video yet. This might be the thing that kicks you. But this lady was one of you. And she has had a change of heart. She's realized a lot of things. And she shares that here. And I think she even throws some apologies our way, which I think is very nice, by the way.
I left the left a couple of weeks ago, and I would just like to apologize. Anyone who saw any post, comment, repost of mine that had any sort of leftist ideology and propaganda. I was so wrong. I can't even begin to explain how it feels to realize that you've been fed propaganda for years. For 32 years of my life, I have been an independent but left-leaning and Democratic voter. I'm so sorry. I fell right into the propagandist, radical, leftist craziness. Please understand that the woke mind virus is very real. It's very real, and it is embarrassing as hell coming out of something like that. However, I'd like to say that I'm so grateful to every Republican and conservative that has been so kind to me and welcoming and forgiving. I'd also like to apologize to the autism parent community. I took part in the propaganda about eugenics. I made several cringy videos about eugenics in regards to what RFK was doing and what Trump was doing. And I was so wrong. Not only was I wrong, but it is absolutely inappropriate for me to have judged any of you for wanting a cure to autism or just information about autism. I myself have a profoundly autistic, soon-to-be 7-year-old. After doing my research, I understand, and I can't begin to tell you how sorry I am. I've started to delete comments that I've left on some of your videos from, the months prior. There's just so many. My entire TikTok has been, I was a leftist the entire time. And so I don't know that I will be able to delete every single mistake that I have made. However, please understand that I am very sorry. I understand that I was wrong, and I no longer align with any of that. I realize that this is going to cause me to lose a lot of followers. That's okay. I don't have that many to begin with. I've already lost my best friend over this, so you really can't hurt me. If you find yourself trying to criticize me or leaving hate comments, that's fine. I understand. I was like you. I did those things too. Also like to apologize to this administration for being skeptical and for spreading misinformation and propaganda, leftist propaganda. I understand now, and I am in full support of this administration. And I, again, am so sorry. So sorry.
I mean, again, people are waking up. It's not that we need to hear "I told you so." Well, I don't. I mean, some of you guys might want to hear it. I don't. I mean, it's just unnecessary. Doesn't help. HHS Gov put this out. Gold standard science doesn't whisper, it warns. Rethink acetaminophen in pregnancy. HHS warns about this. The Dean of Faculty at Harvard, T.H. Chan School of Public Health, authored a study analyzing results from 46 previous studies worldwide using gold standard framework for synthesizing and evaluating environmental health data. The result? The study supported evidence of an association between acetaminophen exposure during pregnancy and increased incidence of neurodevelopmental disorders, which includes autism. It literally came from Harvard. Now, again, do I totally trust Harvard? No, not at all anymore, but most people do. So there you go. There's some solid evidence. Also, interesting story. New York Times back in 2019. Headline, Monsanto weed killer Roundup was substantial factor in causing man's cancer, jury says. 2025, spraying Roundup on crops is fine. Really? Huh. I mean, granted, it's an opinion-piece, guest essay, but goes specifically against the facts that the same newspaper have provided. That's strange. Agriculture Secretary announces update as the flesh-eating screwworm is about 70 miles within the border. Apparently, we're pissed off at Mexico because they're not putting up fly traps all over the place like they're supposed to, and they're supposed to be looking what's in these fly traps and then noticing if it's going north or whatever. This thing is pretty bad. They did find one within 70 miles of our border, and it was confirmed it was a younger calf that apparently got bit by one of these screwworms or got bred into it. We've got fly traps all over the place looking for it, but right now I guess they're saying it's about 70 miles away. Secret Service arrests man attempting to scale the White House fence. Student, seriously, a blazer, a suit, really nice shoes, and these crazy blue glasses. You go, boy. Anyway, he jumped over the fence and or attempted to scale the fence. I don't know if they actually got him before he got over or what. Somebody scaled it, and they caught him. So there you go. Don't do that. That's a bad idea. Oops. Yeah, that was it. John Oliver spends 30 minutes demanding regime change for Netanyahu. Now, there's some weird stuff floating around right now. First off, Trump is very supportive of Israel. There's a whole slew of people that are saying that Trump is Putin's puppet. I don't see any evidence of that. There's a lot of people that say Israel runs the United States. That's bullshit. That's horse shit. United States is a huge, huge amount of money. Now, we feed a bunch of that to Israel. Now, does the deep state have weird connections between Mossad and us and CIA, right, and MI6? Yes, of course. Does Israel run us? No. Have the deep state been running us? Yes. We have a very weird push right now. You got Alex Jones pushing it, Stu Peters. You've got Candace Owens, a few others. I'm not trying to say anything bad about these individuals, but they are the ones that keep pushing this rhetoric that Charlie Kirk was killed by Israel, that Israel was behind it, that Trump's in bed with Israel, like just a lot of very Israel's our enemy kind of stuff, which I find to be interesting. Obviously, it goes against what I generally talk about. You guys, anyone that's watched me for any length of time, I don't like blaming groups of people like that. I don't think that's ever a good idea. I don't think it's ever true. But this is interesting when we've got John Oliver, totally arguably very deep state. And he's kind of, for the most part, agreeing with people like Stu Peters, Alex Jones, Candace Owens. Should almost make you wonder a little, I would think. Who knows? Who knows? I want to talk about Healthy Home. First off, a couple interesting things about Healthy Home. A bunch of you guys have joined Healthy Home, and there's ways you can join. You can either join as a customer, which is great. I get the maximum amount of commission. I love that. That's fantastic. You get incredible products. But there's a lot of you that have joined as members and hopefully executive members, because frankly, it's a better choice to choose executive member. You don't pay $9.99 a month for the website. You actually get that free. You just have to buy a product. That's the only difference. And the products they have available are what you're looking for already, or you can get some bundles and get some cool freebies. So a lot of you guys have joined as executive memberships. Now, right now, Healthy Home is running a special. So September 29th through November 2nd. So I got a few more days for any of you guys that are executive members. And I know that audience number is a little smaller than most of you, but this is also one of the reasons why this is such a great program to join. If you're somebody that's writing Substacks, if you're somebody that's got your own business, if you're somebody that does web work, if you're somebody that's doing videos, it's really good products. And it's a great sponsor. And so you can join under me, and you get the majority of it when you become your own person, and then anybody that comes in under you, you're getting that. The customers that come in under you, you're getting the maximum amount of commission, and you can get people that join under you. Now, again, you get a smaller amount when that happens. You get a decent commission on your guys' first purchase, but outside of that, my commission structure goes way down when you guys purchase as an executive member that came in under me, right? It's just, but it's cool because I know you guys are helping the bigger picture. Right? But they got this new manager breakout. So you can earn $200 of product credits when you rank to advanced manager, which means you just need to get a couple people underneath you. You can do that. Get a boyfriend or a girlfriend to buy some products underneath you, whatever the case is. There's a couple ways you can go about it. And your enroller is going to earn you $100 cash when they break out, right? So they're going to get an extra $100 cash that they can spend on whatever, or just cash out. Manager re-rank. So earn $100 product credit when you re-rank to manager, meaning if you were a manager once and now you've gotten back to it, now you're going to get another $100 product credit. Please note, only those with a lifetime rank of manager and above but haven't held the pay rank of manager and above since July 6, 2025 are eligible for the re-rank. So this is a wonderful product, and they've got a very, very cool thing going. Now, what I would like, because I've got a good friend that wants to help, and she knows that I don't have time to work with a lot of you guys individually. She will and has worked with one individual so far. They had a lot of questions there. Really, this can be a full-time job selling this product. And again, great products, but it can be a full-time job. You can actually make livable money. Believe it or not, you're a wife and your husband works. This is a great thing you can do. You got a gym membership and you go to the gym a lot. This is a great product that you can remind people. You can print business cards. You can get 3D barcodes on them. You can do a lot of stuff, and you can actually grow this and make some decent money. It's pretty cool. And the products are amazing. Amazing. Stem Active heals you, right? Your stem cells. It increases your stem cell count in your body. Those are your healing cells. It does that very quickly. 25 to 40% increased stem cell count in your body after taking this product. It doesn't put stem cells in you. It causes your body to create more. There's a gel. There's the tablets, the pills. They're gel caps, right? Balance is another one for ladies who are going through the change. This is a plant-based, no synthetic hormones, and it helps deal with this transition that your bodies are going through. Obviously, a lot of hormonal stuff at work. There's 14 potent plant-based ingredients that help. People are talking about sleeping better. They're talking about their moods feeling better. They're talking about their relationships are better. More patience just dealing with people outside of themselves. It's a transdermal lotion. You put a little on your wrist. You rub your wrists together. You're good to go. In fact, this one bottle, it's lasting some people 2 to 3 months. So it's not necessarily something that you're going to blow through in a month. It's an amazing product, and a lot of people are making rave reviews. Amaze is going to literally do that. It's going to amaze you. Collagen peptides. Peptides are the best way to get anything into your body. Collagen is the most important protein in your body. It's a liquid. It's almost immediately absorbed, and it is so helpful with sagging skin, sore muscles, joint discomfort, lifeless hair. For any of you guys maybe doing Ozempic, which we're going to talk about a warning a little later in the show, sagging skin's a big part of what starts to happen when you start losing weight quickly. Amaze can be a nice helper while you're going through that. But anybody that is aging and wants your skin to look better, you will be amazed at what you'll notice. It's incredible. It's an amazing product, and you will see the difference in the skin. My girlfriend's double dipping on this stuff, and my God, her skin looks amazing. Looks amazing. I mean, she's Asian, so she's already got an advantage over us, right? Black people, Asian people, they never age. It's a trip. They don't age until they finally age, and then they're like, what, like 105, and you're like, shit, you look like you're 60. Are you okay? And they're like, yeah, I just turned 105. You're like, oh, wow. So again, some people are blessed with good skin. Some of us got to work at it. Whatever the case is, my girlfriend's cheating. She looks amazing. She looks way younger. She's older than me. She looks younger than me right now. Prime is awesome, gives energy, and it's very quick, and it's surprising how it works. It expands your blood vessels, more oxygen transfers through, thusly, more energy. And it literally does just that. Works within minutes of taking it, and you will just notice more energy. I take it before I go to the gym. I'll usually take one of those, and I'll take one of the Focus pills from the Root brands. Take one of each of those, and man, I just, like it's a totally different game when I go to the gym. Totally different game. Also got STEM Active for pets. Now, the one thing I did want to suggest, and this is like half the price of what you would pay for adults or humans, right? And it does the same thing in the pet's body. It helps heal, right? Their stem cells are cells that can become any other cell in the body, so they're fantastic when it comes to healing, right? You got lung damage, you got liver damage, you got any damage, skin damage. Stem cells are what you want to have more of in your body, for sure. Now, what I do want to suggest is anybody that is actually joined in as an executive member or a member, either way, I mean, you should be executive member, but if you're a member too, either works. But what I would like you to do is reach out to me. So on my website, danradiostyle.com, there is a contact me. Go to that, contact me, let me know it's about this specifically, because other people are going to contact me, which is fine. But contact me, say it's about Healthy Home, that you've got some questions. It'd be nice if, you can maybe get a little help or something. And depending on who and how many people actually reach out, I'll be able to adjust how we do it. Either A, we can try to get on a meeting of some sort, and it won't be one-on-one. I'm sorry, I just don't have enough time. But I do have a friend that can help with a lot of one-on-one stuff. She's a lovely lady. Lori is fantastic, and she is more than willing. We're kind of all a team the way it's structured. So by her helping me and my people, she's actually helping herself too, because we're all kind of in this together. So all that said, there is a benefit for her, though it's not necessarily direct, right? But go to that site and contact me and say, hey, this is what's up. And that'll be a good way where I can try to assess and maybe get you a little help, get you some assistance, or even maybe offer some suggestions, because there is some fun stuff. There's the reporting site, and there's structure and how you get your memberships. There's a left and a right, and there's some confusing stuff with it. But once you kind of figure it out, it's like, oh, okay, I don't know why they do it this way, but it sort of makes sense. And then once you start playing the game, you'll start seeing the commissions coming in. So check it out. I want you to go to, of course, danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. That's danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. Once again, danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. Certainly buy products. That's an important one. But for any of the people that have joined already, you don't necessarily need to come to this site. Go to my website, shoot me an email, and we can chit-chat more. All those things said, this is one of the best product lines I've ever had the privilege of using. I love it. It works very, very well. And again, I've got a few products. The ones I use are, I think, winners, and this is definitely one of them. Healthy Home knows how to do it, or heal thy home. It's all about healthy living, healthy thoughts, healthy purchases. And then when you take the pill, you're thinking, like the whole time you're thinking about health and improving your health. That is how you manifest. This product is a manifesting genius, is what it is. Go to danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. That's danradiostyle.healthyhome.com, and make that healthy choice. And if you're lucky, man, get some momentum to manager. Get some money. Get some product credits. Get some good stuff. Get the good stuff. All right, let's do this. Pentagon time. So Hegseth declares end to the woke military culture. That was nice. He tells top leaders to resign if they disagree. Again, I saw like 5 people that were either asked to resign or possibly criminal. Who knows? Again, it's okay. I don't need to prove it. Doesn't need to matter. But we do have a movement that's happening. Pete Hegseth, the War Department Hegseth, from this moment forward, the only mission of the newly restored Department of War is this.
Generals, admirals, commanders, officers, senior enlisted, NCOs, enlisted, and every member of our American military. Good morning. Good morning, and welcome to the War Department, because the era of the Department of Defense is over. You see, the motto of my first platoon was, "Those who long for peace must prepare for war." This is, of course, not a new idea. This crowd knows that. The origin dates to the 4th century Rome and has been repeated ever since, including by our first commander-in-chief, George Washington, the first leader of the War Department. It captures a simple yet profound truth. To ensure peace, we must prepare for war. From this moment forward, the only mission of the newly restored Department of War is this: war fighting, preparing for war and preparing to win, unrelenting and uncompromising in that pursuit. Not because we want war. No one here wants war. But it's because we love peace. We love peace for our fellow citizens. They deserve peace, and they rightfully expect us to deliver it.
Yeah, very much so. And we finally feel like we have a military that can deliver it. Secretary Hegseth has signed 11 new memos. 1, reviewing of hazing, bullying, and harassment definitions. 2, adverse information policy. Policy memorandum review. It's got a bunch of them in there, right? The fitness standards was a big one. Let's see, education and training standards. They're talking about, too, having to hit the fitness twice a year. Some really good stuff that was going on in that. Fantastic how it all played out. So, again, reduction of mandatory training requirements, restore mission focus, implementation of military equal opportunity and equal employment opportunity reform plan, getting rid of all the DEI stuff. And, again, there is discussions about the fact that, yeah, some women, a lot of women for that matter, are not going to qualify for combat positions. No offense, ladies, but good. First off, I don't want you out on the front lines, right? I care about the women. If you're one of these women that's tough as hell and you're like, I want to be out on the front lines. All right, if you can drag my dead ass back through the lines and you can do all the stuff you need to be able to do, hell yeah, hoo-ah, oorah, all that shit. If you can't, fuck no, I don't want you on the battlefield. No! You are a risk. Now, again, I'm not trying to be a dick, but this was one of the most powerful things he said, and I'm very proud of him for having the balls to do it. No offense, again, to ladies. And again, ladies, combat pilots, all over the place. I mean, there's a lot of places where women will do significantly well. Combat is a different thing. You need to be tough as nails. We are literally sending you into a location where they're going to try to kill you. They don't care that you're a woman. And if they capture you, there's a big difference between what happens to a man when he's captured and what happens to a woman when she's captured. Men get killed, generally. Women, raped. Heavily. By multiple people. Not cool. Not cool at all. This ain't G.I. Jane, folks. This is the real modern warfare that we're dealing with. And we're about to go into some heavy shit, so fortunately, we're making progress in the right directions. Pete Hegseth demands troops meet male-level physical standards, rails against fat troops in the military. Do I want to play this 4 minutes? What the hell? Let's play this 4 minutes. We'll see. Hopefully it's okay.
Direct. At every level, either you can meet the standard, either you can do the job, either you are disciplined, fit, and trained, or you are out. And that's why today, at my direction, and this is the first of 10 Department of War directives that are arriving at your commands as we speak and in your inbox. Today, at my direction, each service will ensure that every requirement for every combat MOS, for every designated combat arms position, returns to the highest male standard only. Because this job is life or death. Standards must be met. And not just met, at every level, we should seek to exceed the standard, to push the envelope, to compete. It's common sense. And core to who we are and what we do, it should be in our DNA. Today, at my direction, we are also adding a combat field test for combat arms units that must be executable in any environment at any time and with combat equipment. These tests, they'll look familiar. They'll resemble the Army Expert Physical Fitness Assessment or the Marine Corps Combat Fitness Test. I'm also directing that warfighters in combat jobs execute their service fitness test at a gender-neutral, age-normed male standard scored above 70%. It all starts with physical fitness and appearance. If the Secretary of War can do regular, hard PT, so can every member of our joint force. Frankly, it's tiring to look out at combat formations, or really any formation, and see fat troops. Likewise, it's completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon and leading commands around the country and the world. It's a bad look. It is bad, and it's not who we are. So whether you're an airborne ranger or a chairborne ranger, a brand new private or a 4-star general, you need to meet the height and weight standards and pass your PT test. And as the chairman said, yes, there is no PT test. But today, at my direction, every member of the joint force at every rank is required to take a PT test twice a year. as well as meet height and weight requirements twice a year, every year of service. Also today, at my direction, every warrior across our joint force is required to do PT every duty day. Should be common sense. I mean, most units do that already, but we're codifying it. And we're not talking like hot yoga and stretching. Real hard PT, either as a unit or as an individual. At every level, from the Joint Chiefs to everyone in this room to the youngest private, leaders set the standard. And so many of you do this already. Active, Guard, and Reserve. This also means grooming standards. No more beards, long hair, superficial individual expression. We're going to cut our hair, shave our beards, and adhere to standards. Because it's like the broken windows theory of policing. It's like when you let the small stuff go, the big stuff eventually goes. So you have to address the small stuff. This is on duty, in the field, and in the rear. If you want a beard, you can join Special Forces. If not, then shave. We don't have a military full of Nordic pagans, but unfortunately we have had leaders who either refuse to call BS and enforce standards, or leaders who felt like they were not allowed to enforce standards. Both are unacceptable. And that's why today, at my direction, the era of unprofessional appearance is over. No more beardos. The era of rampant and ridiculous shaving profiles is done. Simply put, if you do not meet the male-level physical standards for combat positions, cannot pass a PT test, or don't want to shave and look professional, it's time for a new position or a new profession.
Basically GTFO. If you can't make it happen, there you go. That's how that's going to play. So again, huge movements, and again, Hegseth did an amazing job. Here's more of him talking. Oh, this was his prayer at the end, and this was beautiful. This was a good way for him to end.
This. And most of all, Lord, please keep my soldiers safe. Lead them, guide them, protect them, watch over them. And as you gave all of yourself for me, help me give all of myself for them. And amen. I have prayed this prayer every time since I've had the privilege of being your secretary. And I will continue to pray this prayer for each of you as you command and lead our nation's finest. Go forth and do good things.
Do great things, for that matter. Yes, we are a new world. Donald Trump came up, and this was pretty cool. This was actually a pretty significant statement he made, where he acknowledged to being the 45th, 46th, and 47th president. Many of you are going to get a big, giant kick out of this because, so many of us have been saying this for so long. Well, here he is admitting it.
And they said, we'd like to name it the F-47. I said, let me think about it. Then after thinking for about 2 seconds, I said, okay. You know what that means, 47, I'm 47. So I'm 45, 46, and 47, if you think about it. I just don't want the credit for 46. I don't want to have their open borders and people coming in from all over the world, including jails and mental institutes. I don't want that on my record, but I like having it.
Yeah, he likes having it, and that's true. So it is somewhat true, right? The whole world is watching. Trump's talking about that. Let's check it out.
Do is stop drugs from flowing into our country. It's destroying. We lost 300,000 people died last year. Everybody knows friends, many friends probably, that you lost a child, or adults too, but you lost a son or daughter because of what's coming into our border. And we're making it very hard. Oh, and we haven't even started yet. Last month I signed an executive order to provide training for a quick reaction force that can help quell civil disturbances. And this is going to be a big thing for the people in this room because it's the enemy from within, and we have to handle it before it gets out of control. It won't get out of control. Once you're involved at all, they all joke. They say, oh, this is not good. You saw it in Washington. We had gangs of Tren de Araguas, 10, 12, 15 kids, and these military guys walk up to them, and they treat them with disrespect, and they just got pounded. They just got pounded. The gang just pounded. Then thrown into paddy wagons and taken back to their country. Some are so dangerous we don't want to even do that because we don't want to. Some of stone cold murderers, we don't have the confidence. Even though they're not coming back very easily, we don't have the confidence. We put them in jails. But these service members are following in a great and storied military tradition, from protecting frontier communities to chasing outlaws and bandits in the Wild West. And our history is filled with military heroes who took on all enemies, foreign and domestic. You know that phrase very well. That's what the oath says, foreign and domestic. Well, we also have domestic. George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Grover Cleveland, George Bush, and others all used the armed forces to keep domestic order and peace. Many of our leaders used the military to keep peace. Now they like to say, oh, you're not allowed to use the military. And you know what the people say? The people in those cities where they're being raped and shot and beat up, you know what they say? We love the military. You ever see where they interview the people on the street? I've never seen somebody say they don't, unless they're radical and paid off, because a lot of these insurrectionists are paid by, whether it's Soros or other people, but they're paid by the radical left. So today I want to thank every service member, from general to private, who has bravely helped us secure the nation's capital and make America safe for the American people. It's amazing. The whole world is watching. Everybody in the White House, they come up to me, young women, sir, thank you. I know immediately what they thank you. They don't have to say it. They walk to work now to the White House. We haven't had a crime in Washington in so long, because we got the careers, we call them the careers. We got these lunatics out, and they'll never be any good. You know, I hate to tell this to the liberal media. You could spend time with them. You could do whatever you want. You could send them to the finest schools, which they couldn't get into anyway, mentally. They couldn't get in, but no matter what you do, they'll never be good. They're bad. They're career criminals. I don't know, maybe they were born that way. Some people don't like me to say that, but maybe they were. Certainly some were. Together with the leaders here today, we're also restoring a needed focus on defeating threats in the Western Hemisphere. Throughout this region, cartel terrorists have been allowed to wage a relentless campaign of death and destruction on our country, all because we had weak leadership on top. And we did a great job with it first term, but this is something else what we're doing now. We're taking it to the next level, probably next level times 3. But we had COVID come up, and we had to take care of that. We did a great job with COVID. We had the therapeutics, it was just Regeneron, so many things we did for COVID, but we had to focus on that, and every other country in the world was being decimated by COVID. So we had to change gear a little bit to take care of that. But under our leadership, the military is now the knife's edge in combating this sinister enemy. We have to put the traffickers and cartels on notice, and we've done that. And we put them, a lot of them, we've called them a terrorist organization, which is actually a big thing to do. Nobody's done it, but I've done it with a lot of them. It gives you a tremendous advantage. If you try to poison our people, we will blow you out of existence, because that's the only language they really understand.
Yeah, and he's friggin' serious about it. China has the U.S. beat in this key arena. I think this has to do with the ability to produce nuclear weapons. Like Trump said in this thing, we've got the best. He even actually made a, like he was talking like we got stuff that you haven't even imagined yet as far as nukes go that are just incredible. He also actually mentioned, I don't think I have it here, but how our subs are extraordinarily silent. Like, you can't hear them anyway. And he calls it out. He goes, the United States makes the best. Russia's number 2. China's number 3. Because Russian subs, you can hear them all over the place. They're loud as hell. Ours, you can't hear them. We've got some special technology going on with our subs that causes them to run very silent. And I don't think it's always like that necessarily, but yeah, pretty powerful. So he's talking about the Bagram Air Force Base in Afghanistan. And essentially, we need that because it's 1 hour flight to China's nuclear production facilities, which could very well end up being toastified by us at some point. Afghanistan, or the Taliban, doesn't want to give us the base back. Trump's like, we're going to get it back. I don't really care if you agree or disagree. We don't consider Afghanistan to be like a normal country. So if we decide we want it, we'll take it. And there's not a damn thing you can do about it. So he calls that out, and it's kind of, an important thing to keep in mind. We've got a new contract. The Pentagon hands a weapons giant $5 billion going to Raytheon. Kind of an interesting product. They're calling it the Coyote missile system. And at first I was like, huh? A missile system? And then I'm like, oh, it's not quite a missile, but it is. But it isn't, but it is. It is a drone. It's a rail-launched drone. It's got a solid booster to get it to altitude. And then it's got a jet-powered motor, basically a turbine, and it does high speed. It'll do unmanned. It'll attack other unmanned aircraft. It will attack other aircraft. It'll attack anything. Anything. This thing will attack anything. It's got some pretty significant radar systems on it, KU band radio frequency sensors. I mean, again, I think this thing's also able to take out drones. And they can launch a butt ton of them at one time. So if we get swarmed, like they talk about, we could actually launch a swarm back. And then not to mention the other levels of technology we have. We could also launch swarms like others and then bring in some missiles like Tomahawks and other stuff. So it's kind of interesting technology that they're moving forward with, Raytheon. And finally, Republicans refused to swear in a newly elected Democrat, delaying success of the Epstein petition. Kind of funny. Essentially, Speaker Mike Johnson's like, look, you're going to have to wait until we get back in. The House returns to regular session, which, depending on what happens tomorrow or today, and it looks like government's probably going to shut down, in which case, yeah, it may be a while before this individual from Arizona, this Democrat, gets sworn in, and therefore doesn't count for right now. That's one less Democrat in Congress. And yeah, Trump's threatening some crazy stuff. We'll get to that in a second. Joint Base McGuire's on a lockdown for an active shooter. I guess we'll play the 26 seconds of this. What the hell?
Gator now is joining me by phone. Bill, this is a situation that is complicated in part because you've got civilians on that base. What we've seen here recently that Brett was talking about is you do have support outside that base, but the...
Okay, that's it, huh? Oh, it just gets silent. Well, that's fantastic. Great. Good job, Fox News, or whoever recorded this. That was called a fail. Anyway, yeah, they got a active shooter. I don't know if that's changed at this point as of the time of recording. About 400 Iranians are going to be deported to Iran from the U.S. Apparently, most of these came from the southern border, came in illegally. Some of them are criminals, too. Apparently, Iran's in the loop on the fact that these people will be coming home shortly. So, there's that. Oops, that's where I should be. Oh, this is messed up. So this father, man, this has got to be the worst thing ever you could possibly do, having to deal with your child dying. But the House Judiciary Committee, they held a field hearing in Charlotte, North Carolina, Monday to examine violent crime in Charlotte. This man's daughter, Logan Frederico, 22, this is the lady, Logan is the girl. She was fatally shot in the chest by Alexander Dickey, 30-year-old, during a home invasion on May 3rd, 2025. She had been visiting friends at a rented property in Columbia, South Carolina at the time of the execution-style murder. It says, when I tell you this story, think about your kids. Think about your child coming home from a night out with her friends, laying down, going to sleep, feeling somebody come into the room and wake them and drag her out of bed, naked, forced on her knees, with her hands over her head, begging for her life, begging for her hero, her father, me, that couldn't be there. She was 5'3" and weighed 115 pounds. Bang, dead, gone. Why? Because Alexander Devontae Dickey, who was arrested 39 GD times, 25 felonies, was on the street. How about that? This is what the Dems are fighting for. Oregon governor says there's no insurrection. Trump, you're full of shit. Yeah, we know that's not true. I'm not even going to waste the time. Senator John Fetterman, he says if you want a Democrat that's going to call people Nazis or fascists, well, you're going to have to look elsewhere. But does say he's not going to leave the Democrat Party. Man, I saw some rough comments. People hate this ass. Well, the only way it's going to work is if you come to our side of the fence. Look, Fetterman, I'm going to say it this way, buddy. That's not true. I'd like to see you leave the Democrat Party, but you don't have to become a Republican, okay? I know a lot of Republicans insist, but all said, whatever.
All the way. But, I mean, on the left, you've got such extremes. Would you consider switching parties?
No, I'm not going to switch, but I'm just going to be an independent voice in the Democratic Party. I'm not going to be afraid if people, and if there are groups attacking a Democrat, the last one in Pennsylvania, then that's part of the problem, in our party. And if you want a Democrat that's going to call people Nazis or fascists or all these kinds of things, well, I'm not going to be that guy. Independent thinking and views wherever I happen to believe the truth, regardless if it's the Republican or the Democratic voice, what I think is the truth in this. Now, in this truth right now, it's firmly on Israel through this. And it's always wrong to shut our government down. and that's where my voice is. And if that puts me as an outlier, and that's where I am.
What do you think happened?
Yeah, and again, a lot of people can hate him and all that stuff. But here's the way I see it, and that's the way I'm going to continue to see it. This demonstrates that people are waking up on the left. This demonstrates somebody that the left kind of likes, kind of listens to, and this dude's starting to go in a different direction. That takes huge amounts of fortitude. And so my hat goes off to anybody that's able to stand up against the crowd when it matters. And right now it does. Now, is he going to vote the same way we want him to on everything? No, he's a Democrat. It's cool. It is what it is. We shouldn't necessarily all 100% agree with each other. Otherwise, this would not be America. But I like what he's doing. I've said it before with Manchin and stuff like that. Again, people hate him. They hate the way they voted overtime. I get it, but sometimes people change. Just a crazy story. We talked about this, but this has just gotten, I don't know, kind of weirder. This rep, Texas rep Tony Gonzalez, staffer, one of her staffers, she was burned to death. She apparently doused herself with gasoline and then set herself on fire. They have security showing it, security footage showing that she doused herself in gas. Nobody was home at the time, so they don't suspect foul play. Maybe foul play happened. But one of the weirdest things about this, I mean, this is horrible that she caught herself on fire, supposedly, is the last thing she said before she died, which is, I don't want to die. Her last words, I don't want to die. What was causing her to have to die? Right? Like, was this something that was happening in her head? Was there voice to skull? Was there what? Was someone literally in the house, even though the security footage doesn't show anything like that? Why were those, and where did they record them? First off, this is what a family member told KSAT, the radio or TV station, probably TV. It's weird. I don't want to die. And then lights herself on fire? Well, you didn't have to. So I don't know. I mean, God, beautiful woman too. So sad. I mean, she was probably Democrat, so we wouldn't have gotten along, but still. That's just sad. Ron DeSantis is doubling down and says he is actively working on drafting a constitutional amendment to slash or abolish property tax for homeowners next year. Hopefully he can make that pass, but it did kind of make me think about this because this is Miami specifically that he was doing that discussion. But Trump has decided his presidential library is going to be built in Miami, Florida. I bet he's not going to pay property tax there. That'll be cool. But yes, he will be moving or they'll be building down in Miami. I think Eric Trump even posted today, that this is happening. So this is going to be the greatest presidential library ever built, or however Trump would say it. I want to learn it. I want to get there one of these days. The Trump administration drug task force seized record-breaking 1 million pounds of cocaine worth $11 billion. Where'd they find this? Miami. So apparently, we're going to celebrate by not having property tax. Then Trump's like, well, hell yeah, and I'm going to build my freaking monster library there. And then we're just going to do rails of coke and probably invite Hunter Biden down there just because. But yeah, no, just kidding. But it seemed funny in my head. $1 billion worth of cocaine. Holy shizzle, man. That's wow. That's just a bunch of coke. Federal judge suspends Trump's administration's plan to cut jobs at the U.S. Agency for Global Media. Again, just another fucked up judge. This is judge's name, just so you can remember it. U.S. District Judge Royce Lamberth ruled Monday that the agency cannot eliminate 532 jobs or full-time government employees, which was set to happen Tuesday. Carrie Lake's the one that's in charge of all this. So whatever, that's just getting slowed down. She announced this, I guess, over a month ago, but whatever. This is going to be shot down, or the government's going to shut down, and it won't matter at that point. Trump will shut this down immediately. I kind of look forward to seeing that. I mean, I hope it happens, frankly. I'll be honest. I don't know. I mean, it's not going to be good. I mean, this is definitely going to kick us in the rump and get us moving in a specific direction, but a whole lot of stuff is finally going to be able to happen. France is screwed. They are. They have debt spiral. Their political paralysis. Their GDP, debt to GDP is just growing. It's past 100% right now, and they literally had to borrow more money to even just pay their regular bills. and they're spending more and more on social programs, so there's absolutely no way they can survive this. France is toast. Toast. Germany's toast. These are the two richest nations in the EU, hands down. They pay for almost everything. They're toast. EU's toast. We are seconds away from the world getting freaking strange. So why are 100,000 federal employees really resigning today? So this is probably going to get spun in a few funny ways, but this was actually the deadline. This is the last day of the fiscal year, and these were all the people that took the buyout, essentially. So there's 100,000 employees, and they're going to try to put this in the jobs numbers, except the jobs numbers won't exist if the government shuts down, so that'll be interesting as well. But 100,000 employees are taking not a furlough, they're literally retiring or whatever, quitting, or getting paid, getting a nice compensation package to GTFO. So that's why 100,000 people will be losing their jobs today. And it's probably going to be spun by a lot of left-leaning stuff for different reasons, but it is what it is. Pfizer is committing to offer all of their prescription medications to Medicaid, and it will be the most favored nation prices. So if you think about the left is freaking out about Medicaid losing money, Trump just made a deal that just saved Medicaid a grip of money. They're not losing anything. They're just not giving it to illegals. And then on top of that, he just saved them a bunch of money. Trump's kicking ass.
Today, Pfizer is committing, as will other drug companies as we go through the weeks. But Pfizer is truly one of the biggest in the world and one of the greatest in the world. Today, Pfizer is committing to offer all of their prescription medications to Medicaid, and it will be at the most favored nation's prices. It's going to have a huge impact on bringing Medicaid costs down like nothing else. I told you that in my first term, I was so proud of the fact that for the first time in 28 years, drug prices came down. And I had a news conference that I explained it was 0.1%, but it was down. And here we're talking about, in one case, over 1,000%. This is a critical step forward to our work and to improve health care, and hardworking, low-income Americans, especially low-income Americans, will be helped so greatly today.
Yeah, so saving huge amounts of money, unquestionably. There's actually, I've got a coming up over here in the med section. First off, RFK Jr. below knocks it out of the park. You guys are going to be stoked on that one. It's about 7 minutes long. I'm going to play it at 1.25 speed, but it's epic. And then he actually sneezed. And what happened when he sneezed was pretty damn funny. Democrats to force shutdown to block spending levels set under Biden. This is likely going to happen. And from what I understand, they seem shocked that Trump wasn't even remotely worried about this. And they really thought they had the upper hand. And they don't. Now, a lot of this goes back to the fact that Schumer, when he agreed to sign the last CR, got destroyed by his party. And so he basically said, you guys took advantage of us. We're not doing this again. And, fair enough. I mean, the Republicans have done the CR type stuff numerous times when Democrats were in charge. So every single time they've ever wanted to do it, the Republicans always helped. That's been part of the problem, first off. So whatever the case is, shutdown's going to halt jobs and inflation reports, the Labor Department says. So no more jobs reports, no more inflation reports. That's going to stop. We're also going to see Chuck Schumer and the Senate Democrats are willing to shut down the government because they're scared of their radical base. Senator Cotton has a really interesting little take on this, and it kind of sums up what I said, and it adds one other layer to it.
Schumer is about to shut down the government because he's scared of a girl in New York City. Her name is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and he fears that she will primary him 4 years from now in 2028 if he doesn't do the far left bidding. If you recall, Hugh, in March, as we were on the verge of another Schumer shutdown, he caved and voted to keep the government open and gave all kinds of backflipping explanations for why he was not doing what the left demanded, and he got some blowback from his left and from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. And he's been fearful of her and of this vote ever since. So he's apparently about to lead his caucus over the cliff and shut down the government because he doesn't want Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez to run against him in 4 years.
Now, I mean, the reality of it is Ocasio-Cortez is definitely running for president in 4 years as well. So I don't know if she's going to have to worry or well, I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? The world's it could be a very different landscape by that point in time. But here is Fetterman talking about how, yeah, shutdowns are definitely not cool.
Always been, and I will always remain on, is it is always wrong to shut our government down. That is a core responsibility. I'm always going to vote against those things. And if it's the Republican side or now it's our side, I'm going to condemn it as well, too, especially with the kinds of chaos that we are facing after Kirk. And now there's a Cat 5 storm that might hit our nation, too. Now, and you're willing to threaten us down. I was the only Democrat voting against that. And now that CR was the same CR from the Biden administration as well, too.
Right.
For me, I'm a big believer of if you want to change the policies, win elections. And that's really the way democracy works. And I didn't vote for the big, beautiful bill. And I do think healthcare, could be a solution. But I don't think shutting our government down is the wrong thing. And that's why I think it's the wrong time, certainly at this point.
Senator,
Yeah, I mean, it's, again, points to him on that, being able to stand up against his party. Nobody else is. Nobody else is. Trump floats cutting benefits during shutdown, warns Democrats are taking a risk. He's going to do it, too. He's going to do it. He says, we don't want it to shut down. We can do things during the shutdown that are irreversible, that are bad for them and irreversible by them, like cutting vast numbers of people out, cutting things that they like, cutting programs that they like. You all know White House Budget Director Russell Vought. He's become very popular recently because he can trim the budget to a level that you couldn't do any other way. So they're taking a risk by having a shutdown. Because of the shutdown, we can do things medically and other ways, including benefits. We can cut large numbers of people out. We don't want to do that, but we don't want fraud, waste, and abuse either. So yeah, Trump is floating some big stuff. Gold and silver. Let's check it out real quick. We'll speed up the refresh here. Yes. Oh, well, it went back to that page. Silver down a little. It's at 46.84, which again, it broke 47 recently, which is incredible. Gold's up a little today at 38.87. It is creeping up on that 3,900 number. We know 4,000 is definitely in sight. Silver is supposed to hit 50, and the expectation is that silver's probably going to hit closer to 100, and gold's likely going to get up to about 8,000 is the expectation. What I'm telling you is you guys got time. You got time to get out of the system, and you've still got enough room for growth in gold and silver to be able to actually make this make sense. If you have a 401k or an IRA, and they've actually got minimums now, I think for an IRA, it's $25,000. So if anything smaller than that, they're probably not going to help you out with that. Anything that size or bigger, totally. This is the right place to come to, drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. I think we also understand for cash purchases, it's something like 10 grand. Or somewhere around there. So if you just wanted to buy some precious metals, that's like a $10,000 minimum. All said, go to drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. My good friends at Goldco help you out of this system. They can help you do it quickly, tax-free, penalty-free, up to 10% of free silver. A nice collectible Ronald Reagan coin, most likely, and your wealth protection kit. And again, it's physical metals put into a trust. You can get those physical metals sent to you at some point or paid out in physical metals at some point if you so desire. But to get tax-free, penalty-free, they move it sideways. If they handed it to you, that's the same thing as paying out or cashing out. Then you get raped. You get penalized, and you get taxed like to the high heavens. So you end up, if you're younger and you cash your whole thing out, you'll be lucky if you end up with 40%, 30% of it. Seriously. This you can do tax-free, penalty-free. You're going to keep way more of your money, and you're going to put it into something that protects your wealth. It holds the buying power. What you can buy with that dollar amount that you've got in your 401 or IRA right now, what you can buy with that dollar amount, you'll be able to continue to buy 4 years from now, 3 years from now, a year from now, 10 years from now. You'll still have that same buying power. It holds that for you. It protects your wealth. Don't let them take it from you. That's what they want. They want you broke. They don't care what happens, but if you're broke and struggling, they love that. Take the power back from them. Put it back in your pocket. Put it back in your hands. Take charge. Let my friends at Goldco help you. drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. Get out of that stupid system before they get out of you. All right, here's RFK Jr. sneezing, and it's just funny as hell. Check this out.
They couldn't test. God bless you, Bobby. I hope I didn't catch COVID just there. Don't you have Paxlovid? What is it? He's got Paxlovid. Give me a Paxlovid immediately.
That's funny, and that's when he had Pfizer in there, which is very, very funny. So, yeah, hilarious. Here is Kennedy talking about how he's elevating America's health and restoring public trust and using legitimate science to do exactly that. This is pretty good. And he's talking about vaccines and their effectiveness. And these are real numbers from the CDC. Check it out.
Hi, I'm Robert F. Kennedy Jr., your HHS secretary. At my recent Finance Committee hearing, Senator Cantwell showed us this chart to illustrate the decline in infectious disease during the 20th century. The vaccine industry has long used this kind of chart as proof of the common claim that vaccines had saved hundreds of millions of American lives. The momentous 70% decline in mortalities in the United States and Western Europe from contagious diseases since 1900 marks one of the most monumental public health advances in all of human history. Was this really an achievement of mass vaccination programs, as many people, including Senator Cantwell, claim? The most comprehensive evidence-based study that rigorously examines this issue is a CDC-funded study that was published in 2000, performed by a team of researchers from CDC and Johns Hopkins University, and led by Dr. Bernard Geyer. The scientists meticulously examined 100 years of government infectious disease mortality data, and they concluded that nearly all the mortality reductions occurred before the introduction of vaccines, and that vaccinations could therefore claim little of the credit. For example, you can see from this graph that in 1900, some 13,000 Americans a year were dying of measles. By 1960, however, this number had dropped to a few hundred. But the measles vaccine was not introduced until 3 years later. Therefore, almost all the measles mortality had disappeared before the vaccine. So the measles vaccine can't really claim the credit for saving all those lives. Let's look at pertussis, also known as whooping cough. Again, we see the biggest drop in pertussis deaths occurred before the introduction of the pertussis vaccine. The same is true for influenza. Massive flu mortalities had already disappeared by the 1960s, but the vaccine was not widely disseminated until the 1980s. So once again, the vaccine cannot claim the credit. And look how tuberculosis deaths nearly disappeared along the exact same timeline as all those other infectious diseases. Even though there was no mass vaccination for TB in the United States, the mortalities disappeared without any help from a vaccine. Likewise, there was never a scurvy vaccine, but scurvy deaths also disappeared along the exact same timeline. The same is true for scarlet fever, which I had as a boy. Deaths from scarlet fever disappeared in lockstep alongside the drops in deaths from all those other contagions. So what actually did cause the decline in infectious disease mortality? A landmark 1977 study by McKinley and McKinley was required reading in most American medical schools during the 1970s and early 1980s. That study attributed the decline not to medical advances or innovations, but almost exclusively to agricultural and engineering innovations that improved nutrition. These included better roads, air transport, and refrigeration, and superior sanitation. This was the same period that flush toilets and water chlorination became widespread. The McKinleys credited less than 3.5% of the mortality declines to all medical measures put together, including antibiotics, surgeries, and vaccines. And here, for example, you see the introduction of chlorination correlates pretty perfectly with the decline in infectious disease mortality. In 1970, Harvard Medical School professor Edward Cass was arguably the world's preeminent infectious disease authority. He was both the founder and longtime editor of the Journal of Infectious Diseases and president and founding member of the Infectious Diseases Society of America. In his address that year to a joint meeting of the Infectious Disease Society of America and the 10th Inner Science Conference on Antimicrobial Agents and Chemotherapy, Dr. Cass issued a prescient public warning that actors within the medical industry would try to take credit for the momentous reduction in disease fatalities in order to advance their profits, their prestige, and their influence. Dr. Cass challenged the emergent claim that vaccines have saved hundreds of millions of lives. Dr. Cass observed that the decline of mass deaths from these dreaded killers occurred prior to the widespread proliferation of vaccines, and he warned against what he called the half-truths that medical research had stamped out the great killers of the past: tuberculosis, diphtheria, pneumonia, puerperal sepsis, etc. He cautioned against the claim that medical research and our superior system of medical care were major factors in extending life expectancy. The deceptive graph that Senator Cantwell showed the nation is precisely the kind of scientifically baseless propaganda device against which Professor Kaz warned us. And yet it is a common trope promoted by the pharmaceutical industry and allied medical associations and their highly paid politicians to evangelize us into believing that vaccines alone saved all of those lives. Senator Cantwell has taken some $456,000 from pharmaceutical companies. The mantric pronouncement that vaccines have saved hundreds of millions of lives is so embedded in conventional wisdom that it rarely receives the kind of skepticism and the rigorous scientific examination that public health agencies should apply to all dogmas. Vaccines are a critical part of public health. They can prevent infections like measles altogether and the serious injuries that sometimes accompany measles, and they can prevent you from spreading measles to others. But blind faith in vaccination alone, as our only recourse against death by infection, has inclined our medical system to discount the role of therapeutic drugs and vitamins and diet, exercise, and other lifestyle changes that might fortify human immune systems against all kinds of sickness. The idea that good health comes only in a syringe and distort public health priorities and lead to misallocations of public health resources. During the Biden administration, the U.S. government's unbalanced response to the COVID pandemic exemplified this peril. American citizens paid a steep price. The United States had more COVID deaths than any other nation. Under President Trump's leadership, we are going to ensure that America has the best childhood vaccine schedule. We're going to address vaccine injuries. We're going to modernize American vaccines with transparent, gold standard science. We're going to eliminate and correct conflicts of interest and misaligned incentives. And we're going to ensure scientific and medical freedom.
Produced by the U.S.
It's huge. Huge. And again, if you think about how we have the ability right now through food and other things to help get us healthier as a nation, and when we start to factor in how expensive healthcare and Medicaid and Medicare or medical, there we go, that word, how expensive medical stuff has become. If we do other things rather than relying solely on the pharmaceutical companies and doctors to save our lives, but instead eat healthier, stop putting poisons in our body on a regular basis, and make sure that we're giving ourselves the best fighting chance, well, maybe a lot of these problems start to go away. And maybe our expectation of life could be a lot longer than it currently is, because since COVID, it's gone down about 2 years, our average lifespan. Keir Starmer, a.k.a. Hitler, apparently he's pissed off about people that say mean things. You have free speech unless you incite racist violence and hatred. That is not expressing concern. It's criminal, says the giant hemorrhoid. Or, I think a lot of us would call this bloke a wanker. I think if I was more British, you probably couldn't say that though literally, because that's hate speech. And Keir Starmer, I don't hate anybody, but man, if I did, you'd be on the list. Yeah. Definitely, and I'd say all sorts of hateful things about you. In fact, I hear, now it's maybe not true, but there's a word on the street that you might have a venereal disease. I don't know if that's true or not. Don't know. Probably not true. Could be. Don't know. Canada designates Indian gang terrorist entity. The Bishnoi group, I guess, is targeted particular communities with violence and intimidation. Ottawa's Public Safety Department is doing something about it. Interesting. Got all these places where it seems that people have immigrated here don't respect our laws, or in their case, their laws. Car bomb blast near a paramilitary Frontier Corp headquarters in Quetta, Pakistan. Kills at least 10 people and injures over 30. I didn't just put this next to an India story but maybe India's behind it. It's a pretty big bomb. I don't know if it shows carnage. I don't think it does. Anyway, I'll play this. It's just a big explosion. Hard to tell which vehicle exploded. I don't know if it was the one that turned in left. There's this guy that's turning in left. He's kind of my suspect. I don't know if he just went in there and stopped and then kaboom. But yeah, that was a big nasty boom for sure. Mysterious drone in Denmark triggers civilian UAV ban ahead of the EU summit. I kind of think it's funny. They've been having some of these drones flying over airports. They don't really have a good way to deal with it. So now they're just like, drones are illegal across the board until after this special meeting we have. So anybody flying drones is going to get busted. We'll see how that plays out. Kind of one way, I guess, to go about it. Majority of Germans oppose NATO striking Russian jets. Something like 67% of respondents said they were against this idea because they know full well that would escalate the war further. And they have zero abilities to fight a war right now. Zero abilities. They don't have any equipment left because they've given it all to Ukraine and it's already been blowed up. They don't have any money, so they can't buy more stuff. They don't have anything that's made already. There's nothing they can do. So yeah, that might be a bad idea to start shooting down aircraft that could get you into an extended war. Poland arrests Ukrainian diver over the Nord Stream sabotage explosion. I don't believe for one second a Ukrainian man dove down to where I just don't believe this for a second, but whatever. This is the new bullshit story that they're floating around on us right now, so whatever. This guy is suspected of being involved in causing undersea explosions that damaged the Nord Stream pipeline between Russia and Germany in 2022. He was arrested in Poland. Poland's probably behind it. Explosive-laden Ukrainian drone was found off the Turkish coast. Literally, there's some fishermen out there. And then something showed up on radar. It was about 800 meters away. And they're like, oh, let's go check it out. And they found this thing just floating in the water. And they're like, oh, cool. Let's take that back with us. So they did. Nothing blew up. It was just a bad idea. But yeah, they dragged it back or whatever. It didn't blow up. It had something like 300 kilograms of explosive. Yeah. Yeah, that's not good at all. GPS spoofing apparently is on the rise. There's a lot of this kind of stuff going on. It seems to be happening with a lot of the dark fleets. But there is spoofing that's happening in a number of cases. But this is like, we had two ships collide a couple times. I think that's happened now. That was because of spoofing. So there's a lot of this stuff. The GNSS, the Global Navigation Satellite System data, this is what a lot of international shipping uses. This seems to be where a lot of the hacks are coming from. This is a web-based thing. And apparently the amount of protection around it is minimal. And once you get in there, you can really mess with stuff and screw with people's GPS abilities. So this is, yeah, not good per se, but it definitely shows some of the places. And these places were designed to be weaknesses intentionally so they could F with things. So this is all part of the deep state, but they're being caught. A Dutch cargo ship was attacked and set ablaze off the Yemen coast. A small transport carrier. It's not a very big one, but needless to say, it's supposedly tied into Israel in some way, shape, or form. And it got attacked by the Houthis. I think it was the Houthis. Yeah, Hamas is over there. Yeah, so this is the Houthis that did this. Yes, there it is. Unidentified projectile. They're definitely getting better with their anti-ship attacks. They were sucking kind of before, but they're learning, so they're improving. Trump's Gaza plan wins support of Arab Muslim world and the Palestinian Authority. There's a whole bunch of people are stoked with Trump's 20-point plan, which I swear to God it was a 21-point plan when I talked about it yesterday, but it looks like one of the points got removed. Here's POTUS talking about this historic day for peace with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Check it out.
So this is a big, big day, a beautiful day, potentially one of the great days ever in civilization. Things that have been going on for hundreds of years and thousands of years. We're at a minimum very, very close, and I think we're beyond very close. And I want to thank Bibi for really getting in there and doing a job. We've worked well together, as we have with many other countries, both of us, with many other countries, which is the only way this whole situation gets solved. And I'm not just talking about Gaza. Gaza is one thing, but we're talking about much beyond Gaza. The whole deal, everything getting solved. It's called Peace in the Middle East. So today is a historic day for peace, and Prime Minister Netanyahu and I have just concluded an important meeting on many vital issues, including Iran, trade, the expansion of the Abraham Accords, and most importantly, we discussed how to end the war in Gaza, but it's just a part of the bigger picture, which is peace in the Middle East. And let's call it eternal peace in the Middle East. So this is far more than anybody expected, but the level of support that I've had from the nations in the Middle East and surrounding Israel and neighbors of Israel has been incredible, incredible. Every single one of them.
Well, everyone's coughing around Trump. It's tripping me out. Hey, by the way, I got my second one today. Stoked. Stoked. Anyway, still got a few more on this guy. Eight of them or so. Whatever. That is making a big difference. Not trying to do a commercial now. We'll talk about it tomorrow again, I'm sure, but loving it. Loving it. Trump gives Hamas 3 or 4 days to accept this Gaza peace deal, or we're going to kick your freaking ass. And that's basically it. And we do have, I think, Benjamin Netanyahu essentially speaking to that very same point right here. Check it out.
I think we should understand that we're giving everybody a chance to have this done peacefully, something that will achieve all our war objectives without any further bloodshed. But if Hamas rejects your plan, Mr. President, or if they supposedly accept it and then basically do everything to counter it, then Israel will finish the job by itself. This can be done the easy way, or it can be done the hard way, but it will be done. We prefer the easy way, but it has to be done. All these goals must be achieved because we didn't fight this horrible fight, sacrifice the finest of our young men to have Hamas stay in Gaza and threaten us again and again and again with these horrific massacres.
And to call out the important part for all the people that have been pushing for the Palestinian state, that's actually possible. That's part of the 20 steps. And this is a big thing that came out. It's a joint statement by the foreign ministers of Qatar, Jordan, UAE, Indonesia, Pakistan, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and Egypt. They all welcome U.S. President's sincere efforts to end this war in Gaza. I just got chills saying that. That's huge. The Abraham Accords, or the Abraham Accords as he typically pronounces it, but now he's got a Jewish guy standing next to him, so he's all trying to pronounce it properly, I guess. But he has very well done some amazing stuff. Now, Russia, don't know. Like, he keeps joking about that one. He's like, man, that was supposed to be the easy one, and that's still dragging. I don't know what's going to happen, but I know Trump's like ratcheting up the pain on that one. It's like, Putin, you better get off the pot, or shit. One of the two, home dog. YouTube settled Trump's account suspension, a $24.5 million settlement, just $500,000 shy of what Facebook had to pay him, as well as a few other people were called out in here. Let's see, X paid $10 million, and $22 million. Oh, this part, yeah. So that's just how they broke down the $24 million. So yeah, oh yeah, and what did CBS give him? $15 million? Yeah, ABC, CBS, they settled. ABC agreed $15 million settlement. I don't think they have a number for the other guys. So again, Trump's paying for the library. One of those actually went to his own pocket. Might have been the X one, and that was probably to help pay for Truth, because he essentially had to pay that out of his own pocket to get that ball rolling. Ozempic face. It's a new thing. It's on the rise right now with rapid weight loss. Any of you guys are out there? I know we got a number of overweight people in my audience, and there's probably a number of you that are actually on Ozempic right now. Just understand, when you lose weight quickly, it causes you to look funny. It'll cause skin to set. I'm not trying to talk you out of it, even though I think it's a bad idea. I do recommend you don't use it as long. Like, use it in spurts maybe. And don't get crazy on it and then stop for a little while and then maybe go back and try to lose a few more pounds if that's what you want. But don't lose I want to lose 15 pounds or something, right? Or 20 pounds, right? Once you've lost the 20 pounds, don't be like, let's just do 20 more. Set a reasonable goal, stick to it, get that accomplished, give yourself a little time off the meds, let your skin take some Amaze, collagen, let your skin kind of relax and get back to good. And then maybe get back on it for a little while if you want to lose some more weight. Just be careful. It will cause your eyes to sink in. It'll cause your wrinkles to stand out way more. It will cause you to look much older. Now, some would say, I'd rather be fat than look old. Okay. I mean, you don't look good being fat either, so you're kind of fucked either way. Just be careful, guys. This is the one that scares me the most of all the drugs that are out there right now. This is the one I've seen horrible things where it turns on, and it's going to be a few cases. This is not going to be the norm, but there will be a few people where because I think this has got mRNA in it. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure it does. And it hits your specific genes. The GLP-1 drug, it can do a lot of different stuff. The concern I have is it turns that off and it never comes back on. And if that happened, you would, as an individual, you would have an extraordinarily hard time keeping weight on. In fact, you would likely lose weight to the point where it would probably kill you. And I think we will likely see some people that have, I don't know what name we'll give the Ozempic bone, or I don't know, but people would just get so skinny they would look like some of the pictures of the people in concentration camps we remember seeing back in the day, right? Or Africans. There's a good one, right? All the starving children in Africa, they're just always just bony, no meat on their bones whatsoever. So just be careful, guys. If it seems like it's an easy way to accomplish something that might otherwise require work, it's going to have other complications with it. Because life's not supposed to be simple. And so if the right thing takes some effort, that's the best way to go. If the wrong thing is easy, that's definitely not the right way to go. And there is trade-offs. Okay, so you either have to work and you do it the right way, or you don't work and you cause yourself problems. That's the trade-off. So be careful. That's all I can say. Final story. Saudi Arabia buys the gaming giant Electronic Arts. I don't know how many of you guys are into gaming, but they do a lot of the sports stuff, and it's kind of cool. I thought that Saudi Arabia bought it because, one, they're super into golf. Two, they're very into soccer. These are the two biggest sports probably in the world. Soccer, for sure. I would assume, golf's played everywhere. But also, football and our football, some of the other stuff. But they also, I think EA does some of the shooter ones too, which are kind of fun. And Saudi Arabia is not adverse to having warfare. So I don't know. This might be a good owner. There was a couple people they talked about that wanted to buy it. Jared Kushner's Affinity Partners. Glad they didn't get it. And I don't know who Silver Lake is. Didn't look them up. Didn't really care. They didn't win. But Jared Kushner, I definitely don't want him having access to this. So, I don't know. For you gamers out there, I feel like that was kind of a cool thing. All said, lots happening in the world, folks, and we are making a difference. Understand, though, there's a lot of interesting information being presented to us. Many of us are running down paths. Whatever the case is, I'm going to try to keep the anchor here towards the center of things. I see a lot of stuff that I definitely don't agree with. Doesn't mean I'm right, but I feel like running down a lot of these rabbit holes just every time there is one, and then telling everybody this is what's so, and then, that's not a good move on my part. And so I just say, take it each of you day at a time. Try to understand that there is something bigger at work, that there is something powerful at work within our lives. We have more power in our own life than most people realize by your thoughts, your words, your deeds. You would be amazed how much that can make a difference just in your own experience, right? Government can say they're in charge of you, but your experience may never really care, right? Might not. So just understand, a lot of things are happening, and people are losing their minds big time, especially as the electric field, magnetic field of the planet starts to wane or weaken or move. One common thing that happens with that is people's minds start to get a little weird. And certainly there's been a lot of talk about the Schumann resonance and everything. Everyone's trying to attribute it to the comet. I think that's silly. The comet's unlikely affecting our planet this far out. But comets do represent change. And there's also another comet. Now they're saying it's something coming from 3i Atlas. That's just like, all right, whatever the fuck, guys. Whatever you want to believe, man. I don't care. I really don't. I believe it's a comet. It's going to come and go. It is a harbinger of change, and change is what we're going through. I don't think it's the comet that did it. I think it's all of us coming here and making the change happen, because we've been working on this for years. The comet just got here. So please understand, God's involved. Remember that. There's not some intelligence that's going to do this for us. No, it's going to be you. It's going to be the part of you that is God-like. It's going to be the part of you that tries to be like Christ. It's that part of us that's making this happen. We're doing it together. That's all I know. And again, everybody's their own creator. There's obviously a whole world out there for people that want to go down it's a UFO. That's cool, man. Have fun. Have a blast. It's cool. It's not going to matter in the big picture. But I love it. And I love the journey we're on. And I love that we're on it together. And again, there's room for everybody in my camp. We don't have to agree. That's for sure. But I love you guys. Where we go one, we go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle.